Mic check, mic check. We're gonna get started here in a few minutes. If you heard the start, then you heard the smoke detector. This is gonna be a barn burner today, I guess. So let's get into it. Let me get my energy up, to be honest. Let me get my energy levels up because they are sabotaging. But it doesn't matter because we're back. Welcome back to another Wisdom Wednesday discussion. Live on the Noom Vibe app, or for you watching the replays on YouTube. I just want to thank you for being here. I am your guide, Nspired, generating, uplifting, inspiring, developing, and empowering you to live inspired every day forever. Why? Because that's life. And here, life is inspired. And to be inspired, it means to never stop prospering. It requires effort daily. And as we started this journey in 2025, in January, learning how to live, now we're being inspired for life. Because this month, our theme has been reflection for empowerment. Because we want to reflect so that we can gain from that the insights that will empower us as we continue to go forward. Because just because we don't look in the mirror don't mean that there aren't things worth looking at, worth receiving. So that reflection is going to empower us as we begin to understand how to live, how to be inspired, and it leads us to life. Today, as the title says, created in the image. So this is about finding that harmony through inner and outer balance. The intent, as always, is to empower, uplift, and inspire. What does that mean? When we say we want to empower you, to uplift and inspire you, it is so that you will begin to align your self-perception with your true essence. It's to get you active so that we stop acting. So we aren't just here to just talk, which we love to do. We are talking with an intent that we can start acting on that. So in our discussions, we always pose questions. We give you tools that allow you to implement these things into your life right away, because we don't have time to waste. And how do you waste time? By waiting around for somebody to come do something for us that we can do for ourselves. And the analogy that's coming to me, the picture that's coming to my head is when I used to see people that will, it's like it's parenting, right? There's something on the floor and I'm standing right there and I see it, but I say, come pick this up, when I'm capable of doing that. That's wasting time. We will sit around and say, I'm going to wait for somebody to come along and make my life better. We're looking for superheroes without recognizing that you are capable of being that superhero. So I want to begin by asking, is your sense of balance shaped by your true self or by the world's expectations? Is your sense of balance shaped by your true self or by the world's expectations? Let's take that a step further. Do you even know who your true self is, or do you only know the self you created to meet the world's expectations? So I'm going to say that again. Do you even know who you are? Or do you only know the person you thought you were because that is the image you created to meet the expectations of the world? Think about it. As a child, they told you everything. You was told your name, who you were, what you were going to do. When did you actually make that decision? We go day by day, minute by minute, moment by moment, thinking that we are making decisions for ourselves. But have we ever recognized if I am making that decision for myself because it benefits me, myself, or am I making a decision for myself because I was told this would benefit me? Am I wearing the clothes that I picked out, or is someone picking and deciding what I'm gonna wear every single day? And whichever side we're on, that's what side we on. Because here the importance is identifying and then understanding and then acting. We're removing the emotion from the places that it doesn't need to be. Regardless if I'm somebody that says, no, I know my true self, or if that question made me realize that I don't know. I'm not better or worse, whichever side I'm on. What I am is enlightened to now know more about myself, something that I didn't have before. So both sides are better off. If you recognize that you know your true self, you're better off for now knowing that. If you recognize that, damn, I don't know my true self. This is an image that I created. A lot of these things I don't like and I'm not comfortable with, and that's what I'm recognizing. Then you're also better off. Because we have some information we did not have before. Anytime information corrects a misunderstanding, that is truth. If your information continues a misunderstanding, that is not truth. Because the truth is not something that is misunderstood. The truth is not something that we create to make ourselves feel good. The truth don't even feel good all the time. Just like when we were kids, or when I was kids, because I don't know what y'all were going through when y'all were kids, but when I was a kid, it was this medicine. It was yellow. It was disgusting. When I say disgusting, I mean like, huh? We're allowed to give this to people? That's how I felt as a kid. I'm talking about, it was disgusting. But it did the job. And that's very much like the truth. If you're going to get sick, you're going to need some medicine. And you don't get to decide if that, and I think one of the disservices right now is that we want to make that medicine bubblegum flavor. Nah, you should make that medicine disgusting. You know why? Because when I took that disgusting medicine, not only did I get better later, but it reminded me, I don't ever want to take that medicine. So I don't want to get sick. Because if I get sick, I'm going to have to take that medicine. Then the problem ain't the medicines. The problem is that I got sick. So how do I stop getting sick so I cannot take that medicine? I don't want my medicine bubblegum flavor. I don't want my medicine tasting like tropical passion fruit. Because all that did was say, that medicine, oh, that tastes good. I'm gonna want more medicine. So I'm going to stay sick. You can't be sick and tired. You can be sick and tired, but you can't be sick and tired. Huh? You can be sick and tired, but you can't be sick and tired. Something's got to give. You're going to be sick and tired and just be like, all right, I'm sick and tired. No, either we about to stop being tired or we about to stop being sick. We not about to accept both of these. We're not about to accept just defeat and just say there's nothing that we can do about it. And I know that that's a lot of the energy that's going around, not only this country, but the world. It seems like people are getting information and they're now feeling like there's nothing that we can do. And I sympathize. But the sympathy that I have doesn't make me want to sit on the sidelines. It's what makes me get up and say, what the hell is going on? Like, snap out of it. Do you not remember who you are? Like, all these elected officials were elected by you. All the rules, the laws, the regulate, everything that's going on is put in place by the people. So the question is, again, if we are tired, you got to do something about that. If we're sick, we got to do something about that. You can't just accept being sick and tired, and damn sure don't allow them to give you bubble gum flavored medicine. No, we don't want more medicine. We want to remove ourselves from the need of medicine. So we got to stop being sick. So what that means is it's time to do the dirty work. Shit is going to be hard, of course. But when you are finding harmony, because that's what this discussion is said, created in the image, finding harmony through inner and outer balance. So we're finding, so that means we're looking for something. If you are looking for something, that can be uncomfortable. Because if you're looking, that could mean that you are lost or whatever you are looking for is lost. So that's going to be discomfort automatically because we finding something. And what we're finding is harmony. So if we are finding harmony, guess what we must be in? If we looking for balance, we have to admit that right now we are not balanced. If we are finding harmony, then we must be coming from disharmony. So if you are in sickness, you have to be moving towards health. And once you find that health, you are now wanting to avoid sickness. So now you have to protect yourself, defend yourself. You don't accept these things because that's the only reason why they are things to begin with, because you have accepted them. If you don't want them, you don't have to have it. That's the thing, though, is we have to then develop ourselves individually to say, what is it that I want? Do you know your true self? Or do you only know the self you created to meet the world's expectations? The one who is in all these different groups and has all these different titles. That is what we create for the world's expectation because they expect me to be this or that. So now I got to choose a side. I got to be either this or that, blue or red, up or down, left or right, square or circle. Your true self, say the hell with all of that. I'm me. I am that I am. And that I am is inspired. If anything. Because to be inspired means to never stop prospering. It requires effort daily. So if I am anything, I'm going to be in spirit. Yet, when we say I am, we put all these titles, which push our true self further back, and we lose sight of who we are. We keep talking about, they say, who are you? And the first thing you start saying is titles. You didn't come in this world as a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, a content creator, an entrepreneur. You didn't come here as that. Those are things you picked up later on that we allowed to define us. But that is not who you truly are. And so the central idea of this whole discussion boils down to this. If I'm created in the image, then the problem isn't me. It's the image I imagine. Balance starts with perception. If our self-image is distorted, the outer world is going to be distorted. Especially when we build it on those external narratives. If our self-image is distorted by those external narratives, imbalance is inevitable. Because you were created in the image. So if there's a problem with the image, then the problem isn't you, it's the image you imagine. Stop looking at yourself and thinking, it's me. No, what are you looking at? There's no way you can say, you can continue to live a contradiction where we'll say I'm created in the image and then believe that we're flawed. So what is the problem then? You are saying that there's a problem with the image you was created in. You're saying you don't love thy mother and thy father. Because if you were created in the image, and we know ain't nothing wrong with the image, and you was created in the image, so ain't nothing wrong with you. So come here, let's see what's on your mind. Because you must be out your mind. Yet, we forget that. It's easy to forget it. It's easy to forget it when we started being in love with the physical. We forgot. And I just want you to know that something new that we're adding to these discussions is I will be using scriptures, doctrine, quotes, proverbs from all over, because we're talking about harmony and finding balance. And here, for too long, I'm seeing these things used against each other. Like knives, swords, we fighting because we lack understanding. So one thing is used against the other. So now you picking and choosing. You are creating the self off the world expectations. The world expects you to be in combat, to be in disharmony, so they will confuse you. And here we ain't doing that. And I'm saying that this way because there is a community that I'm speaking to live, and there's a community that sees this on a replay, a broader community. And I also want those who understand that are here live to know where they are, to not be confused. I don't want you thinking one day it's going to be like this, then you come back the next day, you're like, what? No, I want you to know exactly where you are. I want you to know exactly what the intent and purpose here is. If you are here, then at one time or other, you have struggled. At one time or another, you have misidentified with the term loser, loss. You felt like you have been under a rock. You've been pleading for answers, hoping, begging, praying. You've done what it seems like was everything. You're not asking for somebody to do for you. You want to know how I can do these things. How can I remove this stuff from me? How can I get better? How can I heal? How can I pick myself up? How can I live inspired every day forever? Because that sounds interesting and intriguing to me. And I have tiptoed in my own life. But something crazy is happening. And yet when I say crazy, I don't mean negative. Like crazy is a positive term for me. Something interesting is happening where it don't matter what the hell I want. It don't matter what I want. It don't matter if I don't want to do it. It's coming to me. So this isn't something where I sit down and I say, you know what? How can we spice this up? I want to put this stuff in there to sense that, no, I did not want no parts of this. I was okay being fearful, uncertain, doubtful, hiding in a shell, making myself smaller, pleasing other people. I was okay doing that. That's how I was living my life. And for whatever reason, that was changed. And it was decided, you ain't doing that no more. You ain't being small no more. You ain't pleasing others no more. I'm taking it all away from you. So where I see there's many other people who have a choice, we ain't had no choice. We was chosen. And however you want to feel about that is how you gonna feel about that. Don't bring it up with me. Be mad, scratch your booty, and get glad. That's what we used to say as kids. I'm not worried about it. You cannot worry about the mindset or the thoughts or projections of other people when those other people weren't willing to take the steps that you took. Those that took the steps that you took, look to your left and right. They're around you. Those who are refusing to take the steps that you took, they are the naysayers. They don't want you to do what you're doing. They don't want you to keep going. They don't want you to make it. They want you to break it. But see, in this game, like when I was a kid and we was on the basketball court, we played make it, take it. That's what this life is when it's inspired. It's make it, take it. Oh, we made it, so we take it. I made this, so I'm taking this. I'm taking responsibility for it. I'm taking accountability for it. And damn sure I'm standing up for it. And I'm going to claim exactly who I am. We used to be little, but now we too big to be little. So I'm not even going to talk down on you. I don't have time for that because I'm so focused on where I'm going. I had to realize that, damn it, my self-image was distorted by these external narratives. So no wonder why I'm off balance. And the issue was because I forgot. Damn. I was confused. I forgot that I was created in the image, and that image is not flawed. So if I am seeing something that is flawed, then it ain't me, it's what I am imagining. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God. I don't do new translations, interpretations. Nope, I go back to that confusing, "O ye, where art thou?" for a reason. Because you don't need nobody to translate for you. You don't need to interpret for you. But I don't understand. You allow that understanding to come. We are in a country that is a melting pot of culture. I don't care where you live. You ain't gonna go a week unless you literally live in the mountains and you one of these people that we dealing with that's very closed-minded and yeah, that's the only time. But if your eyes is open, you're gonna see culture everywhere. You're gonna hear different dialects and different languages, and you ain't never had a problem truly communicating. You have people in this country right now that don't speak English, yet we can communicate. You can understand when you open to it. When you close, yeah, you won't understand anything, not even English, not even simple English. You'll be confused by everything because you're closed off. So the renewing of your mind, be ye transformed. So it says, and be not conformed to this world, but, and anytime I hear but, I say, dang, stop saying but, because you cancel out everything before that. Yet in this scripture, that is the reason. Because if you don't hear that, if you don't hear and be not conformed to this world, if all you heard was the next, you would have everything that you need. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So anybody that is out here trying to stop you from renewing your mind, they're blocking you from transformation, which is blocking you from the will of God. And there are people who are saying, oh, no, don't go there and don't do that, the mental stuff. No. They don't want you transforming your mind. They don't want you changing. They don't want you growing up. They want you staying the same. They want us to be little so they can act as if they are big. 1 second. I said you can't be sick and tired. You can't be cooking and discussing. You're going to have to do one or the other. So I just had to go turn that off, because if I didn't go turn the oven off, we was going to be hearing that smoke alarm, smoke detector. So hopefully that don't go off, but coming back. Okay. The transforming, that growth, the renewing, to transform and renew. This is what we're here for. We have been stagnant and stuck. And if you're stagnant and stuck, that's why you're uncomfortable, because you are here to transform and to be renewed every single day. There's no, oh, well, I was trained. No, every day you continuously do this. You went from an embryo to a baby, to a fetus, to a baby, to a child, to a teenager, to an adult. Or we've said that some of us still ain't there, but that's okay. We're going to get there. And I was one of them. I wasn't there. I was of age, but I wasn't an adult. But I was calling myself that. That's neither here nor there. And it says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Why? So that ye may prove. So if we are not transforming and being renewed, then how can we prove what is good and acceptable and perfect? Matter of fact, because you are making yourself of the world. You are accepting the external expectations and building yourself up by that. Instead of be not conformed, you are allowing the world to conform you. And so this is why you're so popular. And this is why all the people love you. And it's, yes, and you're doing that. And that person is constantly being something different. That is not what change, or that may be change, but that is not growth. Again, we seeing people change their clothes, but they didn't take a bath. That don't mean you fresh. That's the illusion. They got on new clothes. So then you see a person that says, dang, they had on the same outfit yesterday, but they cleanse their body. That person is fresh. And we should not be confused. But again, be not conformed. When we conform ourselves to the world, that's what we see. The illusion of the trinkets, the physicals, the external. When you're not conformed by the world, you see through that. Because you are being transformed and renewed, and those things that you once were for you are no longer for you. Those things that you once thought, you no longer think. If we are thinking the same way that we thought when we was kids, that's the issue. If you're thinking the same way that you thought when in your 20s, that's the issue. And that's the problem that we're dealing with in this country and in the world. Old, outdated thinking that ain't updated or changed. They still living in whatever time, the good old time, and whenever it's stuck in their mind. This is why the external doesn't reflect. This is why everybody complain. This is why they're all complaining so much about, well, this ain't this and this ain't that. And it's like, nah, that ain't it. You're trying to hold us back from actually transforming and renewing. You want us to be stuck in a place where you are comfortable. You don't want to be uncomfortable, renewing, becoming something different. Growth is uncomfortable. So you rather be stuck in your ways. And that's okay, because what we're learning is how to go around. We're learning how to maneuver. Again, finding harmony through. So we're going through the inner and the outer. So you can stay stuck in your ways. I'm going to move around that though. Excuse me. You're not going to get me stuck. I'm sorry. And now they're upset. They're like, what's going on? How can they blocking and dodging and ducking and deterring everything? And I'm trying so hard because once you realize and you start going in, once you start being not conformed by the world, but being transformed by the renewing, you gonna prove what is good and acceptable and perfect was you. And that is the will of God. That you see through and into. Yet if you are not allowing that because we're being conformed, then you are not being transformed. You are not being renewed. And so you will not prove what is good, acceptable, and perfect. So you're going to reject everything you heard. When you hear someone like me say, hey, believe in yourself, do for you, you're going to say, that's not what is, that's not good, that's not acceptable, that's not perfect. You are going against the image. You are saying that you must not have been somebody lying then. And as a parent, as a father, I can tell you that my children don't believe the truth that I tell them until they experience it. As someone who was a child, I can tell you, I didn't believe the truth that I was told until I experienced it. They was telling me the truth. Hey, better not do that. And I ain't believe it. That's not true. No. Then I went and did it. And I was transformed and renewed. And was like, all right, okay. And it's that we must remember those lessons, not fearing them, not being too afraid to go back to that action, that incident, that experience that I had whenever it was. See, trauma is traumatic because we won't address it. Just like fear is fearful because we don't go near it. Trauma dissipates the more you address it, the more you sit with it. fear goes away the moment you start walking towards it. You start getting confused, like, am I chasing this thing now? Like, it's running from you. You ever, you ever been? I'm laughing because I can picture this. Like, you know that person that's like, they act all tough. Like, I ain't scared. I'm not afraid. You afraid. But it's really them, and they're projecting everything on you. I'm not crying, you are. That's fear. That's fear for real. That's fear's personality. Fear ain't really tough like that. It's just like, you allow it to project on you. You accept what it projects on you, and that's the reason why it gains more and more power. But the moment you like, man, you know what? I'm about to go. It starts turning the other way. Like, what you coming over here for? Why you? It flips around, say somewhat like the type of people that we're seeing. The type of people that will throw a rock and then hide their hands. The type of people that if a rock was thrown at them, they, oh my God, I can't believe this. This is crazy. We have to do something about this. And they're the ones who started the rock throwing. No, I'm not telling anybody to go out there and start throwing rocks or justifying rock. No. I'm saying that if you dish it out, you should be able to receive it. Yet when we see those who dish it and are not able to receive it, those are oftentimes some of the people who try to position themselves as if they are strong, as if they are leaders, as if they are in charge. But then you see them fold when it's time. So again, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Romans 12:2. But I told you, we balanced. We go all across the world. We love and appreciate and accept. We uplift, empower, and inspire. He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened. That's from the Tao Te Ching, chapter 3. So if you can see how that supports, and be not conformed to this world. He who knows others, he who knows the world, that's a wise man. Look at the people who get applauded. They know everything about the world. It used to bother me because I couldn't quote things like other people could. And I knew why that bothered me, because that is what society deemed as intelligent. You know, the people who can quote and tell you what Plato said and Socrates, and they went to school for years and years, and we filled our minds up with what other people said, and now I can quote that, and that's what makes me intelligent. I removed me and put someone else there, so I can quote other people. I can tell you the great things that other people did, and this is somehow what makes me wise. Yet, he who knows himself is enlightened, and is an enlightened person, not a wise person. Yet a wise person may not be an enlightened person. The higher always encompasses the lower. Yet when we reach for the lowest, we end up experiencing a high, but we don't ever get high. When we go for the highest, we actually experience that, and we're able to see below. What I'm saying is, when you go, you reach for the low-hanging fruit, that reward. You feel a high from that. You feel, yes, it was good. Then you quickly, that high goes away. And now you're stuck with the actuality of that. This is when we take that position or that pay raise and we experience that high, but then we realize what we exchanged, that the money didn't provide what you thought it would. It actually took away. You got more money, but it took all your time away. You couldn't see your family. You're a millionaire, but you don't get to see your family and experience that. When you could shave a little bit off and still have the fulfillment of life. A lot of times we see that. This is what they call selling their soul, right? You took that momentary reward for everlasting pain, to be honest. What looked so good at the moment created more problems overall. But then there's the opposite of that. You pushed it to the side. You put it off. You had discipline. That hurts in the moment because you don't get that immediate reward. Because you're elevating yourself to a higher position. And it's not until you get up there that you hear that ding. All right, you can unfasten your seatbelts because we are now at 10,000 feet. You like, wait, whoa. Now you like, hold on, everything is different. You elevate yourself. So you got to go through that turbulence to get to that cruising altitude where now you can look down and be like, yo, my perspective is different. My perception is different because of what now I experienced. That reward takes away from the ability to experience. I'll pay you to keep you from going over there. Trust and believe that they will pay you so you don't ever make it over there. So if all you're looking for, if what we're putting value in is money, this is how you get manipulated. Because I can pay you and I can put you in position which will have your reality thinking that you did something that you didn't. Then when I take that from you, now you realize you had no foundation to stand on the whole time. It was an illusion. Yet, as we said in the beginning, earlier in this discussion, we play make it, take it. So if we made it, we gonna take it. That's accountability for it. That's credit for it. That's responsibility. Because we made that. So if we are making ourselves up, we're not going to settle for less. We're not taking that no more. We're not taking no shit. You're standing on your own too now. So how you going to take anything less? I built myself up to this. I went through the necessary aches and pains to get to this point. You in the gym building yourself up. So damn right, take pictures. Because you put in the work. Just don't live in the illusion where you went to the gym your first day and did a little workout, you sweating, now you taking pictures like you've been in there for a month. Don't do that. Because then the disappointment comes after a month when you still look like that. And people will say, I thought you was in the gym. Do it for real. That's all we seen. So what we're actually discussing is how we learn to go within so that we are not without versus being without because we're afraid to go in. We were outside the whole time, afraid to go in. That's why we didn't have anything. Now we are saying, I'm learning to go within myself. And this ensures that I will never be without. You begin to see yourself clearly. This is the inner balance. I can see clearly now that the rain is gone. Inner balance is when you start to see clearly who you are. This ain't just the positives. No. Don't start thinking, well, I'm this. Yes, that is what we say to affirm and uplift ourselves. But we don't. We don't avoid the shadow work. We don't avoid the darkness. No, we go straight in there and we say, yes, I affirm those positive aspects of me. Yet without those positive aspects, they also have negatives. And so, yes, I may be uplifting, empowering, and inspiring, yet I'm also stubborn, hard-headed, and determined. And that can be a negative depending on who you are, where you met me in life. Because when I was younger, that stubbornness, that hard-headedness mean that I was going to bump into a lot of walls or doors, or I was going to go against the grain. Yet that negative quality produced a positive quality because now it allows me, now that I'm able to use it correctly, I know when to be stubborn, what to be hard-headed about. So you're not going to come change me and manipulate me in the ways that I was previously manipulated. I know now those things, when to stand firm in those things, and that's what produces the positive qualities of determination, resilience, persistence, the leadership qualities. I had to begin to see myself clearly because I didn't see those qualities before. So when we understand inner balance, we understand that we were created whole. We were created whole. Therefore, flawed external standards should not define our worth because we was created whole. So I don't know why you try to come over here with that half, but you can take that over there. Thank you. You were created whole. Why are we? I'm not going to go there right now. You were created whole. So the flawed external standards should not define your worth. Because that disharmony, that's where it begins. At that moment, when you begin to measure yourself against false expectations. Disharmony began when I started to measure myself against the false expectation of what the world told me a man was. Disharmony began when I began to measure myself against the false expectations of what the world told me a father is. I never fit in that, and I still don't. Because what society will deem as a man or as a father, using the term provider, simply means throw it in the bag, swipe the card, pay the tab, the bill. That's not a provider because money ain't always existed. Yet we have turned that into a monetary status. That if the more money I make, the more man of a man that I somehow am. The more physical provisions I can provide, somehow, the more of a man and father that I am. And if you cannot provide that, then you're not a man or a father. And I'll be damned. You have lost sight of who the Father is. You have lost sight of the image you were created in. I had lost sight of that. And I had to get back to it. Yet I couldn't start disregarding everything, all these things that I had put away before. I had to start looking at them. And that started with me, because that's the one thing that I put away, because I created a self to meet the expectations of the world. So that's what you said a man is? Okay, well, that's what I'm going to start doing. But me as a man, I'm not like that. So they said chivalry is dead. I say y'all killed it, because I like to be chivalrous. Shit, I like writing poems, and I like little silly shit. Why we can't laugh? Why we always gotta be mad? Why can't I do little stuff like buy flowers, hold the door? Like, that is weird to me, that there is people that want to remove that from who we are. They want to take away your acts of kindness. They don't want you to act in kindness. They want us all to be like, all right, well, this is why I'm doing this, and oh, well, forget this. And, no, I'm not doing that. So it was uncomfortable for me, because when I wanted to hold the door, somebody like, I can do it for myself. And I was like, huh? Okay, cool. It didn't register that was offensive to them. When I gave a compliment, the way that it's taken, that I didn't understand that, because I'm not seeking any extras. If I did it, it's because I wanted to do it. I'm not trying to get your attention or trying to get next to you. That's not me. I'm flirtatious by default, not because I actually wanted to get with you. And I didn't know that. And that was uncomfortable, because who I am, naturally, who I wanted to be, what was calling me, where I am now, is not the most acceptable by societal standards. Because where I have the most trouble is in those areas. And it's because I'm going against the grain. Because you're not just going to use me for $1. Because I don't just want to provide monetary stimulus packages to my children. I actually want to be there in their damn life, for real. But that's not acceptable. A lot of people talk it. So it's acceptable to say for likes and clicks and shit, but it's not acceptable. And I'm telling you this as someone who is experiencing this, someone who has counsel with other men, and we're all experiencing the same thing. And I know their character. And it's not just men, it's women too. But I can only speak for where I am. And I will only speak for who I am. But we learn that there is an issue, and it don't necessarily reside with men and women, but the issue has been made between men and women. And then we get together, and it's men and women in this room, and I'm like, you had the same issue I had? Well, then it can't be men and women, because you're dealing with the same thing I'm dealing with. And it is because I didn't recognize that I was created whole, that I broke myself in half, which allowed me to seem flawed. Because I was only presenting half of myself when I was made whole. Think about that. If we're made whole and you only present half, then of course you're going to feel flawed. There is a flaw with that. You must present your whole self, the whole full image you was created in. So damn it, if I'm online and you see me dancing, you gonna see me dancing. And if you see me smiling and laughing and being happy and it causes a problem within you, then that causes a problem within you. I'm not breaking myself in half no more to make you comfortable. I'm not allowing myself to build a flaw by presenting only half of me. Oh, no. I'm going to present all of me, and you just won't be capable of handling it. Hey, you're going to have to drown or learn how to swim. I'm sorry. That's the ocean. Is the ocean saying, let me shrink myself so that these people don't drown in my waters? No, you better understand the difference between your bathtub, the pool, the lake, and the ocean. Because if you come out here thinking that you're going to walk up, you 10,000 feet below now. Now you're a part of the ocean. So it's no more being little. Because it says, let a man lift himself by himself. Let him not degrade himself. For the self alone is the friend of the self, and the self alone is the enemy of the self. Let a man lift himself by himself. Let him not degrade himself. For the self alone is the friend of the self, and the self alone is the enemy of the self. That comes from the Bhagavad Gita. It is showing you the balance, the harmony through internal and external. Lift himself by himself. I had to do that. I had to lift myself by myself. I wanted you to help me. I reached out. Matter of fact, when I didn't see you there to help me, it bothered me because I thought you were supposed to help me. So I stayed down. I stayed down. And I watched you walk past. Then I watched you walk past. And then you walked past. And then you walked past. And then I had to ask, if all of them are walking past me, how am I supposed to get up? And then I looked around, recognized, okay, they still walking past me. Then I asked, how am I supposed to get up? And then what happens is we usually get mad, and I got pissed. If I'm down here and these people keep walking past me, how am I supposed to get up? And I said it again. Damn it, if I'm down here and these people keep walking past me, how am I supposed to get up? And then I heard it. If I am down here, I'm down here, and they keep walking past me, take the how out. And I heard it. I'm supposed to get up. I'm supposed to get up. That became my affirmation the whole time I was on the ground. I'm supposed to get up. I'm supposed to get up. And after saying that so many times, I had to ask myself, I'm supposed to get up. Okay, so how are we going to get up then? Because we know they're not going to help us, so I'm not even looking for that no more. I had to lift myself by myself. And the way that I had to lift myself by myself is I could not degrade myself anymore. I could not say what I was not, what I didn't do, who I wasn't, because that's what society was telling me. I couldn't degrade myself because myself alone was my friend. I was there by myself, just me. None of you was there. You can go back and look. Go on, scroll and go back and look. When I first started, I barely was getting anybody. And that's okay, because before I started, There was nobody. No one to talk to, no one to reach out. The people that was near me, that knew me, deserted me. They ain't even reach out and ask. They didn't call. They didn't say, hey, what's going on? Do you need help? They just assumed, got out the way, pew, pew, they was gone. The same ones that said, I never leave. I got your back. The same men who said they would be brothers to me must have found another family because I wasn't their brother no more. And so I had to lift myself by myself. So I cannot degrade myself. For the only person that was there was myself. Yet the reason why I was there was myself. So I am both the friend and the enemy. Because I put myself in this position and it's only me who gonna get me out of this position. Because I'm playing make it, take it. And if you make it, you gonna take it. Because the world made it before and it was the world that took for me. The thing is that they thought that I was gonna stay there. Because that's what happens to the majority of us. They beat us up to the point where we get discouraged and, we don't want to fight no more. They beat you down to a pulp. Well, Pulp Fiction. I don't know what that means, but that just came to my mind. Maybe it's because I grew up at a time where they had all these action movies where it's the sequel and the person never died. Or maybe it's because I grew up watching horror movies and it was 300 Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason movies, and they never died. So it put that in my mind that it's like, oh, we ain't dying. Or maybe it's the fact that this is in my head. We don't die, we multiply since I was a kid. Or maybe it was the fact that I was associated with a roach and they told me can't kill a roach. They just, so the same negatives are, those things must make me resilient then. Maybe that's what it was. Because I don't know why I asked the questions that I asked, which allowed me to get up and someone else didn't. I'm just thankful that I saw the light. I'm just thankful for being able to find my way back. This is why we say the self and you are important. Because if you don't find your way back, you don't get back. And we have to understand that. We can thank all the supporters for helping us along the way, but damn it, if your feet don't left, right, you ain't going nowhere. So stop it. Stop it with wanting to give praise everywhere else, but to the one thing, the one person, the one individual that had to bear it all. You had to get beat up, then learn how to defend yourself. You said enough was enough. You are taking the steps, going through the rigorous work that it takes. You going through all them days where you crying by yourself. You're journaling. You're going through this turmoil. And you going to get to the end and say, well, I thank everybody else. No, you're going to be thankful for what you put in. And you're still going to thank everybody else. That's the difference between the selfishness of those who only believe that they are God's gift to the earth. No, see, you don't look at it like that. You understand God's gift is the earth. You don't look at yourself as God's gift to the earth. You're part of the damn earth. Don't you go back into the earth? I ain't seen a person yet that died and I watched him ascend and was like, what, you saw that? No, he died and you put his body in the ground. So how can you be the gift to the earth and you go right back into it? Understanding this appreciation and what it looks like. Just because you appreciate yourself don't mean you are selfish. Don't mean you egotistical. It means you're acknowledging God's will. You're understanding. You recognize what is good, acceptable, and perfect because you have lifted yourself by yourself. You have stopped degrading yourself because you understand that yourself alone is both the friend and the enemy. It is you that put yourself in that position. So it is you that's going to get yourself out of that position. Oh, mankind, we have created you male and female and made you nations and tribes that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous. This is from the Quran. It's telling you, we created you and made you this way, not so you can remove yourself from each other, so that you will know one another. For indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous. It's saying the same thing. You who know you, you who understand that you were created in the image, that you are whole, that you are not flawed, you are the most righteous. So ask yourself, if that's the case, then what external narratives have shaped the way that I see myself? And how do I define myself without these external labels? What external narratives have shaped the way you see yourself? And how do you define yourself without the external labels? Remember, true inner balance is built by embracing who you are, not who the world tells you to be. Next week, we're going to go through the outer balance. And I'm breaking this into two parts because I love to do this. Sometimes certain discussions is like, nah, you got to break that down. We got to take it slow. We're not trying to rush, and we ain't going to be here all day because there is a balance that we want to find. And so as we just discussed the inner, next week we'll discuss the outer. And I'm excited all the time, but I'm especially excited for next week because all right, so next week, I'll be traveling. I'll actually be in Denver, Colorado for Eat Denver 2025. Now, this is an annual conference that I go to every year that is